Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, Hayley.
Happy Monday, Micah. How are you today?
I'm doing great, great, and welcome to Monday Lunchtime Digest on Monday.
On
Can you
Monday.
imagine that? That's in the title, so it actually Monday. So, Hayley, tell us what's going on with OCI.
Oh, lots of exciting things. First of all, I am super duper stoked because next week, if I only get to say next week, is our third annual Summer Super Summit. And so this is set to be our largest one yet. So if you have not purchased your registration, I highly recommend you do so because tickets are limited and they are selling quickly. And so again, we are happy to welcome the 2025 APA President Dr. Deborah Kawahara as our keynote day one. And day two, the ACA president, Dr. Edel Torres Rivera. And so we have sold out on booth space. So we have lots of amazing vendors who'll be joining us. We have great live music, chair massages, and food all set up for Thursday night's networking event. And so all we're missing is you. And so if you haven't registered yet, please go to counselinginstitute.org or send me an email, hello@edmondcounseling.com. I'm happy to get you registered. And on top of all that, we have some exciting trainings coming up in June. So it's coming up on June 1st. We have Lisa King. She'll be doing two trainings with us. So Lisa King has done a couple of cognitive processing therapy trainings with us virtually. And I'm really excited. I get to meet her in person for the first time. I feel like I've known her, which we've known her for a couple of years now, but I actually get to meet her IRL in real life. She'll be coming to Oklahoma to present in person at the Halo Project. In the morning, she'll be talking about working with codependency within family systems. In the afternoon, she'll be talking about ethics and boundaries for therapists. And so we also have Micah, who's going to be doing a 3-hour drug and alcohol specific training on June 8th at 9 a.m. Micah, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I'm excited to do this one. So we have been using written exposure therapy at Edmond Counseling for the past year and a half, maybe going on 2 years now. And that's been really exciting. And then also, me being at LADC, work with drug and alcohol clients and looking at how many clients that come in with drug and alcohol issues are also dealing with trauma. So, some of the research out there says 75% of people that are dealing with drug and alcohol issues also have trauma symptoms. And so looking at whenever these two things happen together, then, what do you address first? And going through this consultation with Dr. Lack on the written exposure therapy, it really made me kind of rethink my approach to some things of how I thought I would normally do. So this is just going to talk about how to apply written exposure therapy, some of the nuances with that, with also just cognitive behavior therapy to treat people that deal with addiction. So I'm really excited to be doing this one because it's been some new things that I've learned over the past couple of years, and so I'm really excited to share that with other people.
Isn't it amazing how new training just really reinvigorates you and your profession, just makes you, is just like reignites that passion? I know that written exposure therapy has really been something that has ignited my passion for work again, and you as well. It gives a new lens to look at our caseload, a new lens to look at our case formulation. And so I'm excited for this training too.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not familiar with written exposure therapy, then check it out. It is an on-demand course that we have at counselinginstitute.org. And it's an evidence-based approach. It's been out for, I don't know, it's been out for a little bit, maybe 10 years now. And don't hold me to that. But it's not brand new, but it's been out long enough to have research to show that it's really helpful in treating post-traumatic stress disorder. And so really encourage people to check it out, do the online training. It's not required for you to have that as a prerequisite before you attend my training, but certainly if you want to learn more about that, then you can do the on-demand course and then show up to the live workshop in June.
Absolutely. And so Micah, again, will be presenting that on June 8th in the morning at the Halo Project. In the afternoon, we'll be welcoming Julia Reed with North Care, presenting on LCSW-specific ethics. Now, it's ethics for everybody, but it's tailored more towards those LCSW folks. And then on June 15th, we'll welcome our old friend, Sarah McFadden. Sarah McFadden will be presenting at 2 o'clock on ethics and supervision. And so, again, go to counselinginstitute.org to learn more. And also, just a reminder, we are now NBCC providers. And so all of our live events coming up will meet criteria for NBCC credit. Our virtual courses right now do not meet criteria, but we're working on that. but any of the live presentations that you join will meet criteria for NBCC credit. And so very, very happy about that. We've been working hard on that for the last few months and excited to move forward.
Yeah, and so with that, we'll have counselors from other states. A lot of state boards accept the NBCC continuing education credit, and so if we have, if you have a colleague from another state, something like that, and you're telling them about all the great things that Oklahoma Counseling Institute is doing, then with the NBCC credit, then they will be able to count those CEs for their licensure, as long as their state board accepts them, which most of them do. And so we're really excited to not just be able to help Oklahoma mental health professionals, but also throughout the region and throughout the country. So that's really exciting.
Absolutely. So lots of great things happening at OCI. And so, Micah, what's going on in the world of mental health?
Yeah, well, keeping an eye a lot on, the legislation that is going through. And so I think, I talked last week about House Bill 3330, which changes the language of what in need of treatment is, what that definition is. And so that has been sent to the governor. So that is awaiting his signature. Also, House Bill 3556, which is the one about the health information exchange, which changes the language from medical providers shall use the HIE to may use the HIE. And that has been referred to enrollment. And so from what my understanding of that is that it's just an administrative procedure, which enrollment is when they make sure all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted before they send it to the governor. So that is just getting ready to go to the governor. It's passed, the House and the Senate and is now on way to the governor. So that's really exciting because I know that, OCA has really been backing that. I know that Mental Health Providers for Privacy, the Facebook group, has really been pushing for that. So that's exciting for the possibility that might be signed by the governor here pretty soon. The other thing that we have is Senate Bill 36, which that would allow chaplains to be in public schools. And so that is not supported by the Oklahoma School Counselors Association. They're against that. And also the Oklahoma Counseling Association is against that. And so just recently, both have sent out an email to their members saying, contact your senator because it has passed the House and has gone to the Senate. Contact your senator and tell them that you are against this bill. So that is SB 36. And if you will just kind of give me just a little bit, give me a minute, and I would like to read you a little bit about what is in Senate Bill 36. So first of all, the interesting thing is it is attached to a bill that is going to be making some changes in the Open Records Act and also with recordings for law enforcement. And so it's kind of odd whenever it's in there and then it ends and then there's all this stuff about recordings and law enforcement. And so just as you're reading it, know that this got tagged on with that bill. So they're not all part of the same thing. They're two separate things. But in the bill, it says that a school district may employ or accept one or more volunteer chaplains to provide support, services, and programs for students as assigned by the governing body of the school. A chaplain employed or volunteering under this act is not required to be certified by the State Department of Education. A school district shall conduct a background check before employing or accepting as a volunteer any chaplain. So it does go into detail about the background check and how, obviously if the person is a sex offender or has any type of other types of charges on them, that they obviously would not be accepted. Then it says, it is solely the decision of the individual student and their parents whether to seek the support or services of a chaplain. All students are welcome to utilize a chaplain, but no student may be required to do so. Parents shall be allowed the opportunity to opt their child out of chaplain services. Chaplains employed or volunteering with the school district are prohibited from proselytizing while working or volunteering during school hours or other school functions. Proselytizing shall mean the action of attempting to convert someone from one religion belief, or opinion to another. For the purpose of this act, a chaplain shall be a person who obtains an ecclesiastical, I can't say that word, endorsement from their faith group, certifying that such chaplain is a minister, rabbi, priest, imam, lay leader, or similar function of the faith group, qualified morally, intellectually, emotionally to serve as chaplain, sensitive to religious pluralism, and able to provide for the free exercise of religion by all students. And then education requirements, chaplains shall complete or possess a bachelor's degree, completing 120 semester hours, a graduate degree in theological or religious studies, and at least 72 hours of graduate work. Both degrees shall be from accredited universities. So I just found that interesting, first of all, in the bill that it says that, the chaplain may not proselytize, that they're required to accept religious pluralism and not try to, sway someone to their particular belief system. And then I also found it interesting that it has the education requirements in there. And so, for some religious groups, education requirements are really part of that denomination, whereas for others, it's not. It's more of, if you felt that God called you to be a preacher, then you are. You don't necessarily have to have any type of education requirements or anything. So that's interesting that it would not allow people from that faith tradition, but only if they have a graduate degree in theology in order to be able to serve in this function. So I don't know, Hayley, what are some of your thoughts about the bill as it's currently written?
Well, for me in general, it makes me wonder how this works with the separation of church and state, because schools, public education is a state-funded entity, and so for me, like bringing religion into schools might not necessarily mesh with that. Now, it is interesting that there is that education requirement, because in Oklahoma in general, in order to be a licensed minister to be able to perform weddings or baptisms or whatnot, there's not that educational requirement. So it is not a bad thing that the educational requirement is there. We're going to have these mentors in schools, but I just don't. It doesn't really seem like that might be. I'm wondering how that's going to stand up federally, having these folks in the schools. So just curious, really.
Yeah, the Oklahoma Counseling Association, Oklahoma School Counselors Association, I think, their concerns are that these chaplains would be providing mental health support and possibly mental health advice. And of course, their stance is that should only be done by school counselors that are trained in that, rather than, someone that is a chaplain. Kind of my other thought about it too is I'm, looking at, just faith traditions. If it's somebody that's maybe from a faith tradition that is not as prominent, so maybe looking like a Muslim, or maybe looking at Buddhist or something like that. If it's a chaplain that comes from that faith tradition, I'm wondering if people would be more opposed to it than if it is a chaplain that's maybe coming from a more prominent type of tradition, like Christianity or something like that. And so it'll be interesting to kind of see how this plays out. But again, Oklahoma Counseling Association and the Oklahoma School Counselors Association are against it, and they've asked for professional counselors and citizens to contact their state senator and to ask that they vote against State Bill 36. And then the last thing I have to kind of give a little update is Senate Bill 1470, which is the Oklahoma Survivors Act. And this was the one that allowed judges to take into consideration if a person has been a victim of domestic violence and how that may have influenced them whenever they committed this crime. And so, if someone was a victim of domestic violence and then maybe they did a crime against their abuser, let's say, murdered their abuser or assaulted them or something like that, that the judge can take that into consideration. My first thought whenever I heard about this was the movie The Burning Bed. Are you familiar with the movie The Burning Bed, Hayley?
I'm not, no.
Yeah. So it came out in 1984. It was by Farrah Fawcett, The Burning Bed, and so it was based on a true story. I think loosely based on a true story. that where a woman who was a victim of domestic violence tied down her husband while he was asleep and then put him on fire, caught him on fire.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yeah, so that was The Burning Bed, Farrah Fawcett, 1984. But what the governor, what I've seen in some of his interviews is he vetoed that bill. And he vetoed it because he was concerned that someone may commit a crime and then say, yeah, this was because I was a victim of domestic violence in the past. And so maybe that there wouldn't be like a link, maybe, I don't know, to kind of be, I guess, a little bit outrageous. If somebody like robbed a liquor store or something and said, hey, I did this because I was a victim of domestic violence in the past, or maybe end up harming somebody at Walmart, punched a stranger, and it was because I was a victim of domestic violence in the past. So that was his concern in that. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, now that he's vetoed that. But that is all the mental health news I have for today. And if you are interested in following what's going on with the state legislature, you go to our legislative tracker at counselinginstitute.org. And we have these bills up there and where they are in the process. So love you guys to check that out. If there's anything on there that interests you that you do not see, then just drop us an email at hello@edmondcounseling.com and let us know, and we will be happy to add it to the tracker.
Absolutely.
All right, Hayley. So who is our winner for this week's drawing?
So I'm very happy to announce our winner this week is Emily White, our good friend from Cedar Ridge. Yay.
Hey, congratulations, Emily. Thank you so much. So you have won a Starbucks gift card. So thank you so much for supporting the Monday Lunchtime Digest and for supporting the Oklahoma Counseling Institute.
Absolutely. If you want to be like Emily, what you can do is you can like this post, you can share this post, or you can comment your answer to today's question. Every time you like, share, or comment, you're entered into a chance to win next week's drawing. And so we can actually give that to Emily next week because she'll be at the Summer Super Summit. She'll be representing Cedar Ridge.
Yay! Yes, and again, check out our Summer Super Summit. You can check out the program at summersupersummit.com. And don't wait to register. Do it sooner than later because we may end up selling out of registrations if we continue to go on the path that we're going. So sign up now. Don't wait till later. We're going to have a really great program. Check it out, summersupersummit.com. And also just want to thank everyone for supporting Oklahoma Counseling Institute. Anytime that you like, share, comment on a post, you attend a workshop, you attend a live webinar, you attend the Summer Super Summit, you tell a colleague about us, you are helping to support the mission of providing quality continuing education in Oklahoma, as well as relevant news and resources. So thank you guys so much for your support.
Yes, thank you. And so for today's question, it is, what was your first job? We're getting into graduation season. We have a lot of folks graduating high school, college, and beyond. And so tell us, what was your first job? Micah, what was your very first job?
My very first job was I worked for about 6 months at Walmart. That was my very first job as a cashier working at Walmart, the new Walmart that had opened in our town. My first job in mental health was working as a mental health technician at the Betty Chase Center, which is no longer, the building's there, but the Betty Chase Center is not there, which was a Level E group home for boys. So that was my very first mental health job. So Hayley, how about for you? Your first job and first mental health job?
So my very first job that wasn't working for my parents doing landscaping or selling Western furniture, my very first actual job was working at a movie theater in Elk City. And I actually worked there for 6 years from age 15 to age 21. Best job ever for a kid that age. Got to see Harry Potter, the last one, 3 days before it came out. It was a long story. Fantastic job, though. But my first mental health related job was doing billing for a psychologist. So I got that job in graduate school, did billing for a psychologist for about a year, learned a lot about insurance, learned that I don't want to be a biller anymore. But it was a great experience to learn about the machinations of running an actual mental health office.
Yeah.
And so tell us what your first job was, whether your first real job as a kid or your first job in mental health. We want to know. And again, every time you comment, like, or share, you're entered into the drawing for next week's prize.
That's right. So everybody, thank you guys so much for joining us. Everybody have a good week, and we will see you next Monday.
See you next Monday.
All right. Bye, everyone.